Okay. Yay, Nikki. I'm so happy to have you back on the podcast. And I am sure everyone listening is just as excited as me to hear from you right now at this crazy ass time.
For sure, crazy ass time is definitely the words to use. I'm so excited to be here, Britt. You are honestly the only person I feel like I could do this with, and it just feels so energetically right and in line. And I'm excited to see just by our little conversation 2 minutes before this how this episode is going to unfold for us.
Yes. Oh my gosh, totally. So, let's see. The way that this sort of came to be is we just reconnected in our DMs on Instagram because I'm sure because everything is just wackadoodle right now. And it was like, hey, maybe we should do one of these podcasts again so that you can share with people about the astrology of 2025 and just yeah, your perspective and what yeah, what is going on?
Uh, a lot is going on, Britt. a, a lot is going on. I'm going to say that this is going to be the biggest astrological year of all of our lifetimes. Every single person that's on this planet right now will feel the huge change and shift and everything that this year has to offer. There's not one person on this planet who will look back in a year from now and not say something major within either their personal life or inner life has changed.
Okay.
So the fact that you're saying the feedback you're getting from everyone around you and the feedback I'm getting from everyone around me is like, whoa, what's happening? I can feel stuff is happening, but what's happening? It's
Yeah.
not surprising because when we look at the planets, it's just it's mind blowing. We've got planets that are changing signs that haven't changed signs in decades,
Mm,
right? But
okay.
it's not one; it's most of the outer planets. And when the outer planets move, it usually signifies a big shift within, like, the world. So the
Mm,
fact that having several, and that some of them are even in Aries, which is the beginning of the zodiac, it really is just showing that we're just having this massive new wave that's going to
mm.
just, change the world as we know it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting. And what's interesting, I mean, that lines up with the feeling of this time because in my experience personally, I've had and as my listeners know, I've had several huge like earth-shaking what felt like the end of the world in my personal life experiences in my adult life, which is what led me to be a fear alchemist and a channeler. And what's so interesting is this right now for me, this is not taking place in my personal life. It's the existential, like the world, but it feels so similar to those experiences. The world feels similar to what it felt like when I was diagnosed with cancer on a personal level. And the beauty of that, and what I'm trying to keep in mind, and I'd love to hear your take on this, the beauty of that and what I'm trying to keep in mind is that every single time I had one of these world-ending type of experiences in my personal life, it always led to so much more beauty and expansion on the other side of the experience. And that gives me hope, a lot of hope for what's happening right now in the world.
I would agree. But I think to get to where you are now, that's something that people have to actively work towards and have that mentality within them. And use, these practices, breath work, meditation, body work, to get to that state of, I guess, positivity. When I look at what you're saying from an astrological point of view, you're using the word hope. And on the 11th of January, the North Node moved into Pisces, right? And the North Node is all about our karma, how we collectively moving, what we're moving towards. And it's going to be in Pisces for the next year and a half. And Pisces is all about, the bigger picture, our dreams, our hopes. But it's also like the ether and the I guess, like, yeah, that big picture. But what we want to do is work towards, the things that are our hope and dreams. And when we're in that positive vibration where we allow that to happen, that's when beauty can occur. But a lot of people might not go under that path because the other side of that Pisces energy is feeling a little bit like a victim, or like you're a martyr, or that you're sacrificing. And there's a shift of the opposing sign, which is Virgo, um, coming in, of sort of like, I'm always helping people. I'm always, the slave. And, you know, to really get the most of that transit, I think people need to tune into basically what you just said. Is sort of like, I have these hopes, I have these dreams, I see that this is like energetically where that energy is. Do you know, am I making sense?
Yes. Oh, 100%. And what is coming up as you say this is something that's been coming through when I channel Azanon
Mm-hmm.
recently. They have spoken about how we are, and they started speaking about this last, I want to say like fall of 2024, and they're very much still speaking about this, that we are in a time of choosing, where there are many, many frequencies and timelines available to us. Um, and that it's really important in these years where we're in this time of choosing that we focus our frequency on where we want to go, and not by ignoring the bad.
Yeah, yeah.
You still have to feel the challenging feelings. In fact, you have to feel the challenging feelings in order to actually be able to point your compass at the world you want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And they've made it clear that like this period of time, like this year especially, is like a time to be pointing our personal inner compass at the world we want to see
Yeah,
instead of living in reactivity to what we do not want, because
mm,
we're making a choice about
yeah.
where we want to go.
That makes complete sense for what I see in the astrology as well. You're always so in tune. I love it.
You too.
Let me get all modest and British on you now. um, but yes, I completely, like, I see that, and I do see that it is a um like, when I guess, like, feel into the collective, or when I tune into someone on an individual level and see like the potential of their expansion, it does vary, and that's where the choice comes in, right? um but I do see, for a lot of people, like, even the most stubborn, those shifts are going to be happening. Like, I'm talking about the person that's always like, oh, why always me? Life is always so difficult. Why am I, like, why is everyone like, I'm being bullied and like, that person? They will even have instances where, someone who has it worse than them comes along, which is, obviously, you can never compare these things, but I'm just going into that mindset,
Yeah,
right?
totally. Totally.
Um, yeah, like, it's sort of like the people are going to be challenged to, I guess, like, open their hearts. And
Mm.
that's like Piscean energy. Piscean is like me, my heart connecting with other hearts, and like letting that expansion open, right? And
Okay.
it's so powerful, and the potential of it is just immense. It is so beautiful. But there is a side to it, especially with the state of the world and how the world, I guess, navigates in terms of like the low vibrational energies
Yeah.
uh, that we are constantly being bombarded by. Um, it's so deeply embedded in our subconscious because it's adverts, it's news, it's this, it's that. Like it's constantly trying to keep that vibration low. Um, that people can, and I need would like people to be conscientious of this, that it can, these transits can very easily make people fall into things that are addictive.
Oh,
Whether,
okay.
yeah, addiction is a big part of Pisces, whether it be addicted to substances, but it could be anything, addicted to meditation, to inner work, to hallucinogenics. You know, it's we don't have a lot of earth in the astrology of 2025, and we need earth to keep us grounded. So
Mm.
me personally, this year I am keeping a steady routine because the opposite side of Pisces is Virgo. So for me, it's just like, even though I'm tend to be quite a chaotic person, um, I'm keeping like some level of, routine within my life, keeping that. And I would suggest people doing the same things just to keep that grounded energy, and grounding practices.
Okay.
But if you do catch yourself being into like more the addictive tendencies, it's just something to be aware of that transit. And be aware of other people that might not be into astrology or into these things, and you might actually start seeing that, being like, oh yeah, like lots of people are having awakenings, but a lot of people are also, you know going to other realms of like consciousness. And I am not a judgmental person, even though I'm a Virgo, which is meant to be the most judgmental sign. I personally do believe every single person on this earth is going through exactly what they're meant to be going through, whether it be addiction or whatever else is happening.
Yeah.
So there's no right or wrong, but there is free will, there is choice, and the whole purpose, I guess, for me is more within the Eastern philosophy of like, let's have power of our own mind, and how can we have power of our own mind in these instances.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. And that's, well, that right there, I mean, I think is just like an excellent heads up for people. Um, Knowing that there's not a lot of earth in the astrology, so it's important to be grounding. Like routine is very Capricorn earth, so that resonates with me for sure. What's so interesting to me about that is that I have been in more of a routine in the last like month and a half than I've probably been in a decade. So that is so interesting to me how much that resonates in my own life. Um,
Yeah.
and then the heads up about addiction. I love that so much. And just full transparency, I can feel that energy. I have noticed that I have felt the urge to like drink alcohol way more than I normally do. And I've been aware enough that like, oh, that urge is happening more than usual, so I'm not really going to listen to it, you know? But I have felt that coming up in myself like, oh, I just want to like have a drink or like smoke some weed, like just like
Mm-hmm.
check out. Like there's more of that urge than is normal or yeah, than is usual for me. So that
Maybe,
lines up. What now?
maybe listen to it.
Oh, interesting. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
I'm just like, so
Yeah.
I drunk for like a year, right?
Huh?
I just didn't find it like that. It wasn't doing
Yeah.
it for me. Like,
Yeah.
and I gradually stopped the last, I guess, like 8 years. Um, Again, just because it was just like, nah. And then in December, I drank a couple of times, but like not even like, like a cheeky little margarita here and there. Like, I got like white girl wasted. um Yeah, and like honestly, I have no like it definitely it lowered my vibration for sure, but I needed that like it felt to me like I needed to go into like an old Nicky space,
Yes.
like a vibration of my past that I guess maybe I've forgotten about. Um, and something like within me from my youth has woken up just from those experiences. Um,
Dang.
and what was really interesting about the whole period is I didn't get any hangovers.
Oh, that is interesting.
I didn't feel great.
Sure.
But yeah, and then I think about 2 weeks ago my friends poured me a glass of wine. No, it was actually last weekend. My friends poured me a glass of wine and I actually didn't want to drink then because everyone was having one. I had one and I felt so shitty.
Oh, because it wasn't aligned.
It wasn't aligned. So if you're feeling it,
Hmm.
a little dabble here and there, why not?
Oh, yeah. No, this is interesting. This is very interesting. This is something you're touching on something that I have noticed probably in the last 6 months. I've noticed this shift seems to have occurred. This is for me, and you're touching on it too. So my guess is it's collective. This shift seems to have occurred where it's almost like what is aligned is so easy and like so much smoother than ever before, no matter what it is. And what is not aligned is so much like it's so much harder on your system and rough. And not, I don't even just mean substance, it's just anything in life. I've noticed like if there is a, for instance, a friendship that feels really aligned to spend time with that person, oh my God, it's so beautiful now following that and spending that time. And if there's someone that does not feel aligned to spend time with, but I push it and do that anyway, oh my gosh, it's draining to like a whole new level. It feels horrible. So that is so interesting what you just described.
I haven't had one of those experiences in a long time, but you're like, I've had it before in the past, and I know exactly what you mean. And I'm just like, I was recently forced to spend some time with someone that was actually kind of in that vibration, which I just didn't see them as like energetically aligned. And my God, the moment that they had to exit my life, it was just like exactly that relief that like I felt like you're like describing. It's just like and I think all of these instances are definitely like opportunities within us to like ask ourselves that like for me anyway in this situation was ask like why am I being triggered by this person, what's it like, can I get into my heart space with this person? Absolutely. I have no animosity, blah 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 blah, but how can I, what's happening within me? And it was literally just an accepting of some people just were just not in alignment, and you don't have to, you can love from afar.
Yes.
You can
Yeah.
love from afar. Nothing wrong with that.
100%. Yes. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting that, yeah, there's just this like intensity. And I don't know if maybe the astrology does speak to this. It feels like there is this intense calling to be true to yourself, to be authentic in all ways, on all levels, including like what feels right for you and what doesn't.
So yes, astrologically, in line with a couple of things actually.
Okay.
Um, the first is what the North Node was in before January the 11th, which
Mhm.
is Aries, which is all about the self. Now, the whole last year and a half has been basically exactly what you've said. It's sort of like, um, how am I letting go of relationships and connections that are no longer working? The past is Libra connection. And how am I going into the more autonomous self, the more true to myself, the more who am I, right? Now, um, even though we are in the North Node in Pisces now, this this energy is going to continue up until well, I think it's still going to be an ongoing theme, just not as strong for the rest of the year, right?
Okay.
We've had the last year and a half, there's been kind of like lessons, and I'm trying to think of like an example. I guess it's like you've um you've collected experiences the last year and a half around these themes, and I guess from now onwards is putting that into action.
Ah, okay, yes.
Now we've got a full moon happening in Aries, which is going to be one of the eclipses this year on March 29th, right? And this is going to be, I guess, the last burst of this energy where we might actually be like confronted with someone or a situation or things that bring all of this up. And it's more like, okay, some people are going to be like, okay, where am I going to let go of like needing to be a leader? But then other people are going to be, where have I got to like not fight anymore, be like less like, more paced with it, more connected with it. But the other side is exactly what you said. What am I letting go of to be more true to who I truly am?
Hmm.
Anyone around loves or accepts it. Because right now, with Pluto in Aquarius, which is a transit, probably the biggest transit of our lifetime, 20 years, blah, blah, is all about like coming into your authenticity, right? And by the end of the transit, we should be connecting with people that we feel are so energetically in alignment with us, right? What's interesting with that transit is in the next 20 years, the nodes are going to be in the same kind, like the same signs that they were in when Pluto entered Aquarius, right? So
Hmm.
this period, 20 years, is all about like being true to yourself, being your most authentic self, being who you feel within your heart and your soul to be, however weird or wacky or eccentric you feel it to be.
I love that.
And then by the end of the transit, those people who are an energetic match to you will find you.
I see.
Beginning is the hardest bit because it just feels like that ickiness. People might not necessarily um, be like bad people. It's just they might be in a mindset which you feel is holding you back.
Right. Totally. Yeah.
And you can open up and be like, I love you, but actually, I need like a barrier here because I can see how your headspace can impact my headspace. And I feel like, as I said before, it's all about the power of your own mind. And people do have huge influence on the power of our own mind.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that, I mean, that lines up for me. I definitely can see in my life how over the last year and a half, that has been a massive theme in my life. Like setting boundaries and really being honest with myself about, like you said, who I'm going to love from afar and who's going to be in my close proximity.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
And um, not I think, what I feel is this period is bringing stuff up for people to address it in their own ways. And this could be, for some people, it can look like illness.
Sure.
Like, okay, I've been unwell and no one supported me. All the things I would have done, those people haven't done. But actually, that's actually quite good for me because I found the strength within myself.
Oh, yeah.
And back to that martyr thing is maybe I would have felt like a martyr helping other people. Now I'm letting go of that energy.
Mm.
Now, if you're the person that gets in the instance of, okay, like I was ill and now someone else I know is sick, I'm going to look after them, even though they didn't look after me. You're going into that martyr energy, which is that North Node in Pisces. And that is a lower vibration. That's still keeping you in like the shackles. It what the highest vibration of a North Node in Pisces is, how am I doing this from a place of unconditional love? And that's without any like victimization or I'm, doing this, this, and this, and no one's doing it for me. That's where you're going into that real high alignment. And
Mm.
it doesn't mean you have to tune into what's right for you, because if you're like, actually, I don't want to look after that person, you're fully within that realm. If that's keeping you in the vibration that's going to keep you grounded and solid and within, your highest alignment.
Yes.
Which, like a lot of people talk about the word selfish, and I hate that word. I
Same.
hate it so much.
Yeah, same.
like and I feel like that's a word a lot of people use with Aries especially, but like in general, and I'm like, no, because if someone doesn't want to do it, let's just like respect their life path, and let them be.
Totally. 100%. Yes.
Like a power control for me.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is also themes that will be coming up.
Yeah. Oh, I believe that.
So the Pluto in Aquarius, that is a huge power control, power over the people. So Aquarius is the people,
Okay.
right? Right? There's the humanitarians,
Okay.
right? Pluto is the destruction of it all. The last time we had Pluto in Aquarius, we had so many revolutions,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
And that is going to be huge,
Mm.
huge, huge, huge. First in this year, like I can see like either like new technologies or things are just gonna like things are shit's gonna go down this year, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it already is. Definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 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 absolutely.
Yeah.
But us as the people, this is where like I really see um a lot of light workers,
Mm.
not necessarily spiritual. Let's like light workers don't have to believe in spirituality. A lot of
Right.
light workers are going to be like paving that way for like change and progress. And yeah, it's a powerful time. But yeah, we are definitely in a state where the people are being, yeah, their power is being taken from them. And in the next 20 years, the fight for that is just going to look completely different.
Interesting.
What Pluto was in before was in Capricorn, and that was from 2008 till now. And Pluto in Capricorn was all about like breaking down like governments, societies, corporation, like as we know it. And if you look back then, how the average work life looked for a person in comparison to what it is now that the transit's over,
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
just insane. It's just insane. Even like me in London, which is, corporate hellhole,
Yeah. Yeah.
like from someone that like I've just gone back into office work, from someone that was in office work in my early 20s, the
Yeah.
difference I see, like, when I first joined the corporate world, I had to wear heels and lipstick
Wow.
and like a suit to work.
Whoa.
Right?
Wow.
And now I'm going in with my tattoos out because the space has just changed.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. It's just completely revolutionized. And I see it on my commute. Whereas before everyone was suits and now it's just everyone's kind of in their trainers. Like you don't need to wear a suit to do a good job. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like, um, so yeah, I definitely can see where that Pluto and Capricorn has, yeah. But I think the craziest thing for me has been, you know, um, the pandemic. Like the pandemic was triggered by a Capricorn transit, Pluto
Uh,
transit, and the change that has come from that for a lot of people across the world is working from home.
right. For sure.
Yeah.
for sure.
Like when I was looking for work, there was no jobs that had like just full time in office. There was one, and the guy literally, it was so clear he was struggling to fill that role because no one's going to do it anymore.
Yep, that's right.
So
Wow.
it's really interesting when I look back at those things and see how it materialized. Did the governments fall apart? I mean, people lost trust in the governments. Like, like the White House hasn't burned down, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, houses
Yes.
still there. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see when we reflect back in 20 years. And I hope me and you do this every year because we seem to have been doing it every year. So
Yes.
keep the
Yeah.
theme going. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, just knowing the themes, how it's going to play out.
I agree. Oh, so interesting. Okay, so let's see. What, let's see. How do I want to put this? I think something I definitely want to ask you is what would you what would you say to someone who is feeling like nervous about this year based on the first month of the year? Someone who's feeling like maybe in fear. I think a lot of people are feeling a lot of fear. Um, what advice would you give, or what would you share with someone so that they can navigate this year for themselves? Yeah.
I think fear is one of the most powerful human emotions that we can have, right? And really, fear, and maybe it's my Scorpio moon, but like maybe for me, fear is actually one of the most beautiful things that can throw us into an action mindset.
Yes. Yes, I agree so much.
Because, you know, naturally we're habitual creatures, right? And if things are, on the surface okay in our daily lives, we tend to just go with that flow. But now that this fear and anxiety has come within us, that is, I'm seeing the magician card in the tarot, right?
Mhm.
That is a form of alchemy, right? You can take that fear and you can turn it into something that's so out of this world.
Yes.
And I that's where I really think like people that are feeling that helplessness or that this Goliath has towered over them
Yeah.
is that shake in your bones. That is something. Yeah, and you know whether it means like okay, now I feel like I want to join a group, I want to join a protest, I want to do this, I want to, oh, the world's falling to shit. Okay, I've always wanted to like do art or do this or do that, like whatever it looks like for you, that fear, like it shows that you're alive and you're
Yeah.
meant to live.
Yes. Oh my
And
gosh.
fight for it. Fight for it. Fight for your freedom. Fight that fear.
I love this. So it's so funny. And I swear, I promise all of you, this was not planned. This conversation was not planned in any way. But literally this Wednesday at 11 a.m., I'm teaching my new Fear Alchemy workshop for the first time. So if you're listening and this resonates, head down to the show notes and click that link because it's donation based. You will not be turned away for lack of funds. And that is exactly why I'm leaning into this fear alchemy work right now because I agree with you. Fear is so powerful. And if we can learn to see it that way, to work with it, that changes our whole experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Agreed. And I've done some of your workshops, and honestly, you're in for a treat if you guys join.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just like, this is wild because I've been feeling that. I've been feeling like it's so important. It's so important now for people to change their relationship with fear.
Yeah, but the thing is, you've got like that passion for it, and I think it's like you're. For those who don't know, Brit's got so many Scorpio like placements in her birth chart.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
really been that person that has had to look at fear straight in the eye,
Yeah.
right? So many instances in your life, and then transmute and transform it. And I feel that that really comes out in your workshops.
Mm.
Like, I've had a session with you, I always just feel like, I guess, grounded and at peace with whatever is happening. It's sort of like, yeah, it's fucking happening. That's life. Let's come here, baby.
God, oh my gosh, yes. I love that so much. Yes, that's the energy right there.
Do you know what I love about the date we've randomly chose as well?
Oh, please tell me.
Right. So in England, some people celebrate like the pagan calendar,
Oh, sure.
and today is in bulk.
Oh my gosh, that's right. Today's February 1st.
Yeah, yeah. So, for those listening that don't know, Imbolc is the midpoint of winter solstice and spring. So it's sort of like the I see it as the seed of winter has been in hibernation, and this is where it starts to like take its shape before it starts to sprout, right? And
Mm.
it's so in line with the astrology at the moment, because right now, the first December through to end of February, we've been going through Mars retrograde, where things have been slow. Things have, yeah, yeah, things
Wow.
have been frustrating. Some things have been like really passionate, a little bit aggressive. And
Yeah.
for some people, it can feel like, because we've had a lot of change and we will continue to have a lot of change. And we feel that we need a lot of change. Some of us, a lot of people I'm talking to is like, I need to change my house. I need this. I need to do this. I need to do that. Like, no, 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 no. Like the change is like, it's wanting to happen. um,
Mm-hmm.
but there just feels like this, like with Mars retrograde, it's sort of like, oh, I want to go traveling. It's like, oh, but I can't go because that's a delay and this delay and that delay. And that's kind of like the period that we're in. And in bulk is like the going inwards and looking at that shadow.
Mm.
And then it's coming all to light to what will grow. And I just feel like I think we should do this podcast every year on the first, because it works with the astrological new year as well. So the astrological new year starts when the sun moves into Aries. So the 21st of March. So anyway,
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love that. And yeah, 100% didn't plan that. It just worked out that we're recording today.
yeah, you were just like, how does Saturday sound? I'm like, great. And then this morning I was like, huh, love
I,
this for
yes, I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that feels amazing.
yeah.
Okay, so in the spirit of trying to keep this around an hour,
Mm-hmm.
I want to give you an opportunity to share anything else that we haven't covered that you feel like you really want to touch on for people, if there is anything.
I actually haven't touched on a lot, but I don't think it's necessary to touch on a lot of it. There, as I said before, a lot of the signs are changing. Um, the eclipses are when we're going to really feel the shifts. So I just want to share those dates.
Yes,
So
please.
um, the March 14th, we're going to have a Virgo full moon eclipse. March the 29th, we're going to have an Aries new moon eclipse,
Mm,
right?
okay.
Then on the 7th of September, we're going to have a Pisces full moon. And
Okay.
then the September 21st, we're going to have a Virgo new moon eclipse. And again, these are all going to be around that theme of like letting a part of the ether go, connecting to our spiritual self, like um yeah, going into more of a heart space, meditation, like just big changes around there. We're also going to have a Venus retrograde on March 1st. This is gonna be at 10 degrees of Aries up to 24 degrees of Pisces, right? Venus retrograde is going back into like themes around like money, values, relationships. It also rules the arts. So in this period of time, people can watch um, TV shows that are nostalgic or connect to art from the past. And it can be a really healing time for the heart, Venus retrograde. Um, but it can also have an energy where an ex might feel like they need to reach out or connect with you. So if you're listening to this right now, just bear that in mind, that that might be a possibility, or you might feel called out to do it. And just what would feel energetically right for you if someone did connect in that way. And even if they don't, just appreciate that you've done that inner work within yourself,
Hmm.
because that's like another energetic clearing that needs to happen.
Okay.
But yeah, I think other than that, we kind the Mercury retrogrades,
Yeah.
everyone's favorite.
And there's no rush. Like, share what you want to share. I don't mean to rush you at all. Like,
You're
for
not, I'm
sure.
not going rushed. I don't feel rushed at all.
Okay,
It's just
good.
that I remember the Mars, the Mercury retrogrades. Everyone hates talking about Mercury retrograde. Maybe that's why I almost left it out.
So true.
Um, so this year, a lot of the retrogrades, all of the retrogrades actually, Mercury retrogrades are going to be in fire signs, but some will also have a touch of water in them.
Okay.
So that mean similar to this Mars retrograde that we just had. It can have like this year. I kind of see it as moments of frustration, getting shit done, delays, a little bit of an emotional journey because there's some water, a lot of water going on, um, some tears, some flooding in some places. Just an FYI. And but yeah, just again, just back to that theme of this is all part of the cycle. You have the power of your own mind within this.
Okay.
And how can you ground this energy and really embrace all these big changes that are happening?
Mm. Okay.
I have to say.
No, that makes total sense. That's interesting about the Mercury retrogrades all being in fire signs. Um, okay, okay. I mean, I feel like this was an amazing overview, and also some really solid, like clear advice about like how to work with this energy, how to move through this year. Um, and if we get the intuitive hit, maybe sometime throughout this year we'll do one of these again, and we
Oh
can,
yeah.
yeah, we can check in and catch up on where everything's at.
Hmm.
Uh,
Let's see what these transits have to say. Like, let's see how they
yeah.
play. Because yeah, it's already the shifts. Like, I think once that Mars retrograde finishes at the end of this month, like March is just going to be wow,
Okay.
wow,
Okay.
wow. Yeah,
Oh boy, it's exciting. It's
it
exciting.
is. It
Yeah,
is. What
definitely.
time to be alive?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. For sure. Okay, so before we finish up, I just want to ask you, are you doing readings now or are you on a pause?
Actually, so I did go into a little hibernation for a few months,
Right.
and in that hibernation, I have decided I never say never, but I don't think readings are in alignment with me anymore. Uh,
Oh, okay. Okay.
yeah, I'm focusing more on writing and creating and things like podcasts and things that like make me feel alive and in tune and happy.
Yeah.
That's my Virgo energy, the South Node hitting my Virgo energy and just being like, that doesn't feel right for me anymore. So I'm honoring that.
Okay, awesome. I mean, I absolutely love that. I feel like just you sharing that is such a powerful example of what you've been talking about. Like really truly honoring what feels authentically right for you. That's
Hmm.
beautiful. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd be that martyr. I just
That's
have to open
right.
the door. No, no, I'm so much happier.
Oh, I love that. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. That is
And I'm
so cool.
grounded.
And you're what? Say that again.
And because of it, I feel more grounded. I feel more in tune, more, yeah. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, but I have to. No, you don't.
That's right. Ooh, I love that. There's something for me there. There's something for me there. I'm not even sure where in my life, but that's landing somewhere. We'll see. But I love that so much. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom here with everyone. Um, I know it's going to be so helpful and so powerful. So thank you so much, Nikki, for being here. I love you. I'm so grateful to have you on.
Thank you for always being so amazing at holding space and just being you, Britt. Just forever being you. Mm.
Thank you. Thank you.
Check person.
Oh, thank you. And everyone listening, have a wonderful week. I'll catch you next time.